At left tackle, number 78, Avery Williams. At left guard, number 76, Caden Ellaby. The center is number 77, John Cruz. At right guard, number 66, Vershawn Mosley. At right tackle, number 75, Albert Reiberg. Wide receivers are number 14, Zach Allen, number 15, Joseph Harris, and number 1, Ryan Wingo. At running back, number 21, Kahan Grace, and starting at quarterback, number 4, Marco Sansone. On defense, the Junior Billikens. Defensive end, number 46, Sebastian Tate. Defensive tackle, number 61, Archie Carruthers. Defensive tackle, number 2, Cody Cade. Defensive end, number 99, Vince Copley. Linebackers, number 8, Keenan Harris. Number 33, Dominic Sansone. And number 11, Kendall McNutt. Starting at cornerback, number 3, Matthew Moore. And number 24, Jackson Bennett. Strong safety, number 7, Jacoby Oliphant. Free safety, number 19, Will Schulte. Place kicker for the Junior Billikens, number 23, Christian Ziegler. Hunter, number 86, Maddox Chambers. Head coach of the Junior Billikens is Adam Cruz. Let's welcome the players, coaches, fans, and administrators from St. Louis University High. Now here are the starters for your Rockhurst Hawklets. At tight end, number 11, Mitch Forbes. At left tackle, number 54, Andrew Sprague. At left guard, number 62, Jack Manning. The center, number 65, Charlie Gorson. At right guard, number 66, Trey Gano. At right tackle, number 70, Luke Llewellyn. The wide receiver, number 14, Mason Tunley. Number 2, Jack Bickelmeyer. Number 10, Micah Oder. At fullback, number 40, Thomas Coppinger. At running back, number 7, Aiden Ryan. Starting quarterback, number 2, Ethan Hansen. On defense for the Hawklets, defensive end, number 6, Vince White. At nose tackle, number 62, Jack Manning. Defensive end, number 66, Trey Gano. Linebackers are number 40, Thomas Coppinger. Number 43, Jeff Getting. Number 11, Mitch Forbes. And number 7, Aiden Ryan. At cornerback, number 23, Ben Stringer. At number 14, Mason Tunley. The safeties are number 10, Micah Oder, and number 3, Logan Kiefler. The Hawkwood specialist, place kicker, number 3, Logan Kiefler. The punter, number 22, Vince Jacoby. The holder, number 8, Charlie Luce. Long snapper, number 33, Bo Newberger. Kickoff returns will be handled by number 10, Micah Oder, and number 14, Mason Tunley. Head coach of the Hawklets is Kelly Donahoe. Your Rockhurst Hawklets.
And welcome into another episode of Friday Night Football right here on your number one source for all things high school sports. That is 810varsity.com. Friends, let's take you back 39 years. The year was 1983. Mario Brothers was just being introduced. Return of the Jedi was in the movie theaters. And a gallon of gas is only 93 cents, believe it or not. And just like last year's overtime thriller between these two squads that we're going to see tonight, Michael Jackson released the biggest selling album of all time, Rockhurst and the Junior Bills. out of St. Louis University High, lined up on opposite sides of the field that night for the first time. In that game, the Hawklets topped the Junior Bills 13-10 in the semifinal round of the Class 5 playoffs. That was also the exact score of the first NFL game played in London that year between the Giants and the Dolphins. A week after these two teams battled, the Hawklets defeated Hazelwood Central 13-7, earning Rockhurst its third state championship and the first title for legendary head coach Tony Severino. Coach Sev went on to lead the Hawklets to a total of 6 more state championships before retiring after the 2019 season. Well, friends, what's old is new again. These two teams were loaded then, and they are today. For the Junior Billikens, who are led by one of the top quarterbacks in the Midwest in senior Marco Sansone, the signal caller has a lot of help all across the roster. And they've also had a hard-fought road to a 5-2 record. Their only blemish coming at the hands of CBC and a very salty DeSmet program. Helping the Junior Bills on offense is a cast of athletes that any team would love to be wearing their color. In this case, the all-white SLUH jersey with the number 1 on the chest will be donned by arguably the best wide receiver in America. That young man's name is Ryan Wingo. And folks, he's the real deal. Watching him on film, at least, it's kind of like watching, that Peyton Manning skit where he plays against the toddlers, because Wingo has the size, the smarts, and the sizzle to play ball on Saturdays for any program he chooses. On defense, St. Louis University High has more than a slew of talent led by standout Keenan Harris. He's leading the team in tackles and sacks. And oh yeah, he's only a sophomore. The Junior Bills team has more than a few underclass standouts, so you'll have a front row seat to watch this evening. For the hometown Hawklets, third-year head coach Terry Donahoe has his team finally believing that it can beat any team in the state. So far, they've done just that outside of a beatdown at the hands of Liberty North early in the season. But since then, they have defeated 2 of the top teams from Kansas in Bishop Miege and St. Thomas Aquinas. And in that game, they came back from nearly 30 points down to win in overtime. They have firepower in seniors quarterback Evan Hansen, running back Aiden Ryan, and a host of other playmakers. Defensively, the Hawklets seem to reload every year. Tommy Coppinger, Jade Ketting are just a few. But friends, tonight you're in the right place for a football fiesta. A treat of touchdowns or a trick or two surely up the sleeves of these two great coaches. It's another episode of Friday Night Football, and you have a front row seat to all the action all night long, live right here at 810 Varsity. We are moments away from kickoff here at Severino Field in beautiful central Kansas City, Missouri. The home team will be wearing their blue tops, white bottoms. And we're kind of having a little rave here. DJ David Trimble just joining with us here in the booth. Welcome in their partner. We are moments away from kickoff. 12 minutes on the clock. The first quarter is now underway between the Junior Bills and the Hawklets. Taken around the 21-yard line. He brings it out to the 25, loses his footing, but that's where Rockhurst is going to have it 1st and 10 for the first series of the game. We'll have our first look at the defense, the aforementioned defense, St. Louis University High, and their cadre of underclass standouts. Right now, we're also going to see Evan Hansen, number 2 for the Hawklets, the 6'1", 180-pound senior. Nearly 60% completion rate this season. Takes a snap back, under pressure, and blown up, maybe for a loss of 3 or 4 yards. Aiden Ryan brought it in, and it looks like possibly number 99 on the defense. I think that was Vince Chapuis. Now, let's get this out of the way right now. If I mispronounce a name anytime tonight, just remember, my name is David Trimble. For every name that I get correct, my name is Sean Brewer.
And I believe that was Jacoby Oliphant, number 7, coming in and getting that tackle.
Jacoby Oliphant, the 6'5", 190-pound senior, getting it done. Rolling out is Hansen. He's got a receiver around the 40. You're going to say that he was just a little bit out of bounds. Couldn't quite bring it in. Intended receiver is Mason Tunley. It's going to bring up 3rd and long for the Hawklets. Not exactly the start you wanted to see if you're a Rockhurst fan. And for the fans sitting on the far side of the field, making the trip up from St. Louis, they are so far liking what they see. No score between SLUH and Rock. 11-10, 11:09 left to play in the first quarter. 3rd and 13 situation. Here's Hansen. Little option out. Gets it to Ryan. Lowers his shoulder. Gets out to around the 33, but that's going to be about 3 yards short of a first down, bringing up a potential punt situation for the Hawklets.
And I would have liked to have maybe seen them switch the play calls. I'm up here in the booth, so obviously I don't know what I'm doing, but you got to run to pass. And they came out passing the first 2 plays. If they would have maybe run that run first, that would have opened up a little bit more possibilities for them.
And now with 4th and 4 from their own 32-yard line, Rockhurst with 8:76 on the play clock, and it is going to be Hansen. Little pooch kick. Doesn't get very far, down around the 35-yard line of the Junior Bills. And St. Louis University High is going to have their first drive from scrimmage. 10:21 left to go here in the first quarter. As I mentioned in the pregame, this Junior Billiken offense led by standout Marco Sansone. More on him and his family throughout this broadcast, but big number 4 is going to be doing the signal calling, and he's got a host of receivers, including one of the top receivers in the country, and we see him in motion right now, Ryan Wingo. But instead, it's going to be a handoff. Nice run to open things up. Gain of around 9, just shy of the 45-yard. They're going to mark it at the 44.
And they are looking to hurry it up here.
Wasting no time are the Junior Bills. Sansone looking over the defense. Tries for a hard count, looks over to the sideline. Coach Adam Cruz bringing his squad up, sporting a 5-2 record so far this season. Sansone waits for the snap. Another handoff. This one's going to go left. First down, and then a little bit more into Rockhurst territory. First down, Junior Bills.
And Lakin Grace making it look very easy, using that cutback and that speed, picking up the first down.
It's Kaylon Grace. I believe he's a 5'10", 185-pound sophomore. He's been kind of the bell cow running back for this SLUH team so far this season. And might as well make it 3 in a row. This time he's trying to get to the edge. Doesn't quite get there, but he cuts it back. Nice little nifty play. Gets him down to the 40. It's going to bring up 2nd and manageable. Or I beg your pardon, 3rd and manageable. Easy for me to say.
And yeah, the yards after contact, that's one of those things that coaches are going to love to see. And we've got a little personnel change going on here. Oh, maybe just getting the call.
Going over to talk to the coaches on the sideline is Marco Sansone back into the huddle. Still got plenty of time on the play clock. 9-8-7. Marco Sansone waits for the snap. 4 receivers coming in. There's a reverse. Gets it to big number 1. That is Wingo. Wingo doesn't go that far. Maybe a gain of about a half a yard. So going to bring up, I'd say, 3rd and about 4 to get to a first down.
Now, does that qualify as a little razzle-dazzle?
Well, it was a reverse. I would say that the end result, there was razzle. I don't know if we had the dazzle.
Okay.
But I suspect that we will throughout the evening. 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. Little hot shot blown up.
Mitch Forbes coming up to make that tackle right there for a big loss, taking them back to around the 46.
Mitch Forbes, one of the many two-way players for Rockhurst, makes the biggest stop of the game so far for the Hawklets. 4th and 10, just inside Rockhurst territory. And the Junior Bills going for a hard count. I think Coach is probably going to say, go ahead and take a couple of steps back. We get rid of this one and kind of pooch it. That one's going to bounce around the 10. Might stop, and it does roll into the end zone. So the Hawklets are going to have it 1st and 10 from their own 20 for their second drive of the game. No score, 7:13 left in the first. Sean Brewer, David Trimble with you on 810 Varsity. Glad you're spending some of your early Friday evening with us tonight. Kind of an uncharacteristic starting time as we see the fans still rolling in. I asked for an early preliminary attendance figure as we were coming up to the booth, and so far they said through the gates just under 1,200 unofficial.
And let's see what Rockhurst can get going on their second drive here.
Hanson to Ryan. Ryan gets a couple. Brings up 2nd and 8. Trying to run behind big Andrew Sprague, who will be taking his talents to Ann Arbor, Michigan to play for Coach Jim Harbaugh starting next fall. Big Andrew Sprague. 6'8", 275 pounds. David Trimble, there's some big boys on this field tonight. More on that in a second.
Sir, there are.
We're not just talking about us either. There's a little trap up the middle. Enough for a first down by number 35.
Gus, don't call me Daniel Sorensen.
Exactly, Gus Sorensen. Number 35 on our roster, number 1 in our hearts. Did not see him on the two deeps, but obviously he is, I beg your pardon, there he is, a 6'1", 180-pound senior.
And I like to see him getting that running game established.
Out of the eye. The eye back does get it. That is Ryan. He twists around. He falls down at the 40. Up second. Yeah. That's 2nd and 4. Maybe 2nd and 3 from their own 40-yard line. Very methodical approach so far. Been a clean game. No penalties. No hanky-panky on the field so far.
Merch coming out next week.
You know, I would say like hankypanky.com, but I don't know that we want to send people there because I have no idea whether or not that's safe for work. It is safe for work as you tuning in here to 810 Varsity. Glad you're with us. There's Hanson. He's going to scurry to the left side. Gets around the edge. Gets, I'd say, right around midfield, but he is pushed back. Forward progress should get him around the 49.5. But more importantly for Rock, it's going to move the chains.
And they came out throwing, and then now they have thrown run the ball 5 consecutive times.
$17 on the play clock. 5:05, 5:04 on the game clock. Hurrying up to the line is Hanson. Pitches it out to Ryan. Lowers his shoulder. Takes 4 and 5 white jerseys with him. And he's got enough for another first down.
And that's another one with yards after contact. They are going to be very pleased, the coaches, with that one. Not giving up on the play, keep churning those legs.
Keep churning those legs, kind of like us at the buffet line, right, David Trimble? Just got to keep powering through.
Yes.
1st and 10 from the 39 of the Junior Bills. 4-man front, now bringing in 5. Going the other way behind Mr. Sprague on the left side. They're making it look pretty easy so far. Gain of about 5, maybe 6. Make it 2nd and 4 once again. Like they say, just kind of keep taking it till they take it away from you. Something is working. Would not surprise me to see perhaps a little play action. So on film, this is a situation where they get Aiden Ryan in motion, and we see Aiden Ryan with the reception. Now, I was just getting ready to say, David Trimble, as I look up to the lights, I wasn't sure if I'm the only one here seeing this, but it certainly looks like some precipitation coming in. Can you confirm?
I can confirm that there's, I'm going to call it a drizzle.
Okay, a little drizzle. Got the razzle-dazzle. We got a little for shizzle drizzle.
Snoop would concur.
Thank you. See, we're pretty hip and cool here. 3:35, 3:34. 1st and 10. Interesting approach offensively, not giving a lot of time to the defense of the Junior Bills to make those adjustments. And so far, it's working according to the script. Certainly not for a lack of effort on the defense by the Junior Bills. As I said, the Junior Billikens coming in with a record of 5-2 under second-year head coach Adam Cruz, who's also alumnus of St. Louis University High back in 2010. I was just 2 years old, way back then. Hansen now under center. 3 receivers, 2 tight end look. Little play action to the right side. He's got a receiver on the near side. 10, 5. He's going to be pushed out of bounds around the 2-yard line. And that was number 29. Number 29 is Pierce Fisher. The 5'11", 170-pound sophomore.
And number 19, Pete Mearslaw for SLUH, definitely saved 6 points right there.
Now, what I do believe you meant to say is Will Schulte for SLUH,
I did.
but indeed he did.
I did.
Ryan gets a handoff, powers his way down to the 5, gets pushed back by that front twosome right in the middle of the line for SLUH. Pushed back by number 61, Archie Carruthers. And he's certainly been a nuisance to this Hawklet offensive line. Archie Carruthers, 6'3", 258 pounds. A D tackle position. Some big boys down there in the trenches. 2:04, 2:03 left in the first. 2nd down. Handoff inside to number 40. No signal yet, and there it is. Touchdown, Hawklets. Tommy Coppinger, the 6'4", 220-pound senior with his 3rd touchdown on the season. Averaging 4.3 yards per carry. He only needed a couple of yards to find pay dirt on that one. Making it 6-0, 1:55 left in the first quarter. Point after attempt, no flag. Kicker, that is Logan Fiekler, 6'2", 175-pound senior, puts it through, makes it 7-0. 1:55 left in the first quarter, and you were watching it live right here only on your number one source for high school sports. That is A10varsity.com. We'll be right back. 7-0 is the score, 1:55 left in the first quarter. Tommy Coppinger puts the Hawklets up by 7 after a 4-yard dive into the end zone. Kicking off, back to receive. Going to be Oliphant and Harris.
And I'm not sure if the weather had anything to do with that. That was a fairly short kick. They're going to put it at the 39, giving the Junior Bills very good position with 1:55 left to go in this first quarter.
David Trimble, that last drive for Rock, if I'm not mistaken, there were only 2 passes attempted, but otherwise it was ground and pound.
You are absolutely correct.
Which we saw from the Junior Bills on their first drive from scrimmage. And boy, when you can run like that, 11 yards for the first down carry, move the chains already. Boy, how impressive is that young man? Only a sophomore. Mr. Grace, 5'10", 185. But he's got the zig and he's got the zag. He is going to be a treat to watch tonight and certainly for the next 2 years of his high school career.
And you got to credit that O-line for making that space for him, and he just found it and boogied on down for that first down.
Indeed, he did. Another big gain, call it about 8 yards, into Rockhurst territory, all the way down to the 42-yard line of the Hawklets. Just over a minute to play here in the first quarter. Marco Sansone waits for the snap. Looks to his left, patient. He's got all the time in the world. He's going to keep it and run for a first down and a little bit more. Finally pushed out of bounds around the 33-yard line. Pushed out of bounds by number 23. That was Ben Stringer coming up from his cornerback position.
And credit Rockhurst on that one for the coverage downfield. Didn't like anything down there. So Mr. Wingo decided to...
What did he decide to do there, David Trimble?
Tuck it in and run it down himself for the first down. Actually,
if he were the quarterback, he probably would have. But right now, we are going to see Ryan Wingo get the ball. First opportunity touching the rock. Turns it into, really, he turned nothing into a little bit of something. 3-yard gain. Brings up second and around 7.
I think maybe I was just foreseeing the future and seeing that he was going to get that run on that play is what I was thinking.
You are a man of many talents, my friend. 2nd and 8 from the 32 of Rock. Less than 30 seconds to play in the first. Draw back to pass. Scrambling to his right. He's going to keep it again. Pushed out of bounds on the far side by number 35. That was Gus Sorensen. Another two-way player for the Hawklets. Marco Sansone, one of a long line of Sansone players, family members for this Junior Bills program. But he has led this Junior Bill program for quite some time, and you can see that senior experience and that leadership showing through. Watching him on film, he does not get razzled. Right there, he's under pressure. Great job of escaping. Why not keep it again? Now, I would say, partner, that run right there was as close to razzle-dazzle as we've seen so far. What a fantastic effort by number 4, Marco Sansone. Doesn't quite get the first down, or at least no indication. Going to bring up 3rd and short. But we do have some hankiness right around the 25-yard line. I was going to say that looked to be, I didn't see the signal, and that's going to back up. The Junior Bills back to the 35-yard line of Rockhurst.
And that's one of those penalties where you almost think maybe they didn't mean to when the QB's scrambling around like that. People are trying to recover. And
last play of the quarter, Sansone rifles one in right to the chest. Right to the chest of number 15. That was Dom Yarborough. It bounced off of his chest up into the arms of another defender for Rock. But they're going to say that ball hit the ground at some part in there. We'll have to watch that on replay on a10varsity.com. But that's going to do it for quarter number one. We're a quarter of the way through regulation here in Kansas City. And the home team up by 7 over the visiting St. Louis University High Junior Billikens 7-0. And you are watching it live only on a10varsity.com. We'll be right back.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
As we begin the second quarter.
1 quarter down, 3 more to go. We will kind of flip the field here a little bit.
And the Junior Bills are hoping to flip the score. Just to tie it up on this drive and to get a little bit more. Marco Sansone stands by himself, waits for the snap. Looks to his left where he has 3 receivers inside. He's going to go to the big tight end. That is Mr. Pace for a first down all the way down to the 16-yard line of Rockhurst.
And I was waiting to see when we would see that young man get the ball. When you've got a tight end at that size that can move like that.
6'4", 229-pound junior Landon Pace with the first down reception. An impressive young man he is. Watching him on film, he has some of the best hands that I've seen at a tight end so far this year. There's a handoff. That is number 9, and he is blown up. That is Nathan Gunn, the 5'9", 163-pound senior. Thought about turning it up. He tried to get to the edge, but he was pushed back by a duo of Hawklets. I didn't see who got that.
Jacoby was in there. I was just getting ready to say Jacoby was showing off the speed to be able to keep him from getting around the outside.
Is that his first name or his last?
That's his last name.
Okay. Because we have a Jacoby Oliphant as well. Second down, rolling out to his right is Sansone. He's got a receiver. They're going to say he caught it and pushed out of bounds at the 7-yard line, which should be just enough for a first down. Going to bring up a first and goal. Well, no indication yet because we have
right in the middle of the field
some
there.
hanky action at the 20. It's going to back him up again. 2 penalties on this drive for the Junior Bills.
And that was a hold on the Junior Bills. It doesn't look like they've let these 2 untimely penalties kind of be a momentum killer, which it can be sometimes, but they would like to keep those to a minimum.
2nd and 18 from the 26 of Rock. Little quick out to the right in the flat. Lowers his shoulder down to the 20, down to the 15. He bulldozes over about 5 Rock defenders. And again, singing the Graces. Kalon Grace. My word. That young man is special. Everybody's certainly keeping an eye on Andrew Sprague and Ryan Wingo, Mr. Sansone, and so many other outstanding athletes. Well, Mr. Grace saying, hey, I could do some damage as well. To the right of Sansone, man in motion is Wingo. Sansone, little redirection, but right there, Rockhurst has that one sniffed out. That's going to bring up a 4th and about 10. I think he had a favorable spot, making about 4th and 9. They're going to have to get down to beyond the 9-yard line of Rock for a fresh set of downs. No field goal units coming onto the field. 9:40, 9:39 left before halftime. Rock up 7-0. But the Junior Bills are threatening. They have a 4th and 10 from the 21-yard line. Sansone looks to his right. Why not when you have one of the best in the state? Did he come up with that? They're going to say incomplete.
There's some
I'm going to have to
laundry.
see that. You know, we have the same as you at home. We have the camera pretty much right at the same vantage point that you're seeing in your living rooms or wherever you're watching us here on A10 Varsity. I'm going to have to watch that one again because from this vantage point, it looked like Mr. Wingo somehow extended that paw, brought it all the way in. He had 2 defenders all over him.
I was going to say, with one of his hands looked like it was being held down, and it looked like he was still about able to make that catch.
But after the pass interference call, that's going to bring up a 1st and goal, fresh set of downs, more importantly, for the Junior Bills. They're going to mark the ball at around the 9-yard line of Rockhurst. 9:24 before half, 7-0, Rockhurst. And we see Coach Cruz on the far sideline, and he is not happy. And he is one of the most animated coaches that we have seen in the past couple of years. It's extremely well spoken. I was able to listen to a couple interviews that he did this season, and he's one of those types that you just love to listen to because you can hear the passion in his voice. There's no question at all that he's one of those guys that are cut from the mold to be a leader of young men.
And he was definitely showing that passion, and it's going to be a 4th down. I think maybe that's what he was talking about.
It will be with a 10-yard pass interference penalty. Of course, in high school, it's not a spot foul or at the 1-yard line. So when it was 4th and 11, it is now 4th and 1. 9-8 on the play clock. Hurrying up to the line. Sansone. I think Coach Adam Cruz is going to reach in his pocket, pull out his charge card, call a timeout. 9:23 left before halftime. 7-0 Rock over SLUH, and you're watching it live on a10varsity.com.
That carryout comes in clutch.
Big 4th down play, 4th and about a foot, David Trimble, for the Junior Bills. Right before the timeout, Marco Sansone found big number 1, Mr. Wingo, Ryan Wingo. He threw it up. Let his best player try to make a play, and a play made he did. Couldn't quite hang on to it because he had a couple of Rockhurst defenders all over him. Empty backfield out of the Wildcat. Going to keep it himself. And how about that run? Just ran right over the Hawkland defender. That was number 10. Number 10, Micah Oder. Mr. Oder is not a small man. But I tell you what, Keenan Harris, he's only a sophomore, David Trimble, 6'2", 204-pound sophomore. That's going to make a highlight reel for that young man for sure.
And that was a tough, stiff arm right there to pick up that 1st down.
1st and goal. Sansone hands it off inside. Stood up with a short gain. Might have made it down to the 8-yard line. Going to mark him maybe closer to the 7. Going to bring up 2nd and goal for SLUH. trying to tie this one up. Tommy Coppinger, responsible for the first touchdown for Rockhurst in the first quarter, with 8:33, 8:32 times the ticking before halftime. Sansone, another handoff. This one goes to the right side. He's about a yard away from the end zone. Another fantastic run by Mr. Grace. Waiting not are the Junior Bills. And that one hit the ground. Now, I see the official running in from the side. They're going to mark that ball down around the, what is that, about the 7-yard line, David Trimble. So a loss of 5.5 on the play.
And I think that's one of those unfortunate, I mean, it was just a low snap. He couldn't get to it. And it looks like they are bringing in the field goal team.
The field goal team onto the field. Christian Ziegler, who does all the extra points and field goal attempts in field goal formation. Good clean snap. Kick is up. And that one kind of curves into the left, but it is good. And with 3 points, the Junior Bills are on the board. Down by 4 to the home Hawklets of Rockhurst, 7-3, 7:23 left before halftime. And we'll be right back on 810varsity.com.
Get a shake with your points and some fries on the side with your points.
You get more with every order.
Woo! Get a Whataburger or a patty melt or some breakfast with the points.
You get more with every order.
Get a biscuit or a brownie, but no matter what you pick, you get more.
Like your favorite Whataburger or whatever, 'cause it all gives you more with Whataburger Rewards.
Seven to 3, 7:23 left before halftime. Junior Bills with their first 3 of the game. Behind the foot of Christian Ziegler. That was an interesting, not sure if that was a true onside attempt or not, but the result is essentially the same. And I think the coaching staff for Rockhurst is saying that, hey, we should get the should be able to get the yardage after the return. See where they mark it. They're going to have a little zebra huddle around the 40-yard line. David Trimble, that last drive for the Junior Bills, impressive as it was. They made it all the way down to around the 10-yard line at 4th and 1. But before that, 4th and 1, they had 4th and 10 from around the 20. Kind of expected them to forego the field goal attempt, considering they're a little bit closer to the goal line. But that's why we're up here, not coaching on the sidelines.
And, it's my personal opinion, early in the game, you want to just get points on the board.
Okay, I think you're going to talk like religion or politics there for a second.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Wouldn't even think about it.
Okay.
I'm a fan of getting the points on the board. Is it a good place to go for it? Sure, because if you don't make it, they're down at inside their own 20, so it's not bad to turn the ball over on downs there if you don't get it. But I just like to get those points on the scoreboard early in the game.
Sure, 125 yards rushing from scrimmage for Rockhurst, 7:23 before halftime. So they have shown that they're able to certainly move the ball at will. But after that last Junior Bills drive, they were able to kind of go tit for tat on that one as well. An impressive drive behind Mr. Grace, big 21.
So after all of the discussion and everything, it looks like Rockhurst is going to be getting it in the Junior Bills territory at the 47.
Shout out to Jonathan Palasic.
Classic Palasic. He's usually, we're kind of, as I told him yesterday, we're going to kind of keep his spot warm up here in the Rockhurst High
press box. He is at home fighting just an atrocious rash, he tells us. So for those of you that know Jonathan Plasek and you're looking forward to hearing his melodic voice when you're stuck with us, well, just know that I'm sure he'd appreciate you reaching out and saying get well soon and hope that rash clears up.
Penicillin can do wonderful things these days.
So can salve. Do you remember?
I like a good salve. I like a good salve. Just rub some tussin on it.
Rub some tussin. Not sure what tussin is. Not sure I want to know. What I do want to know is when this game is going to get back to action. The official standing over the ball at the 47-yard line of the Junior Bills. Following that, we're going to call it a quasi-onside kick attempt. Rushing right up to the line is quarterback Ethan Hansen. Another handoff to Ryan. Doesn't go far, maybe a gain of about 1. Coach Cruz on the far sideline. He is fired up about that play. Love to see his excitement.
And he's been fired up. I think that was some of the delay in in getting this drive started was he was a little animated and giving the officials a little bit of a how are you?
Indeed.
I respectfully disagree.
2nd and 10 from the 47 of the Junior Bills. 2 tight ends set. H-back to the left, single back. Ryan under pressure, Hansen. He was looking to get the ball to Ryan, but he was covered up. Great defensive job on back-to-back plays for the Junior Bills. Not that they were playing with tar on their shoes earlier, but it kind of certainly in this past 2 or 3 plays looked like they've kind of found that extra gear, kind of swarming to the ball.
McNutt and Oliphant both were giving chase and forcing him out of bounds for maybe a 2-yard gain.
Jacoby Oliphant with 43 solo tackles on the season. He also has 3 sacks and a couple of interceptions. Not going to have one there. That's going to be a first down reception around the 31-yard line. That was number 31. John Ribe, the 5'9", 160-pound junior. Six and a half left in the second quarter. 1st and 10 from the 33 of the Junior Bills. Junior Bills still showing a 4-man front. Certainly worked out well before that last first down run. Hansen. Now here's a little trickery, razzle-dazzle, but guess what? That's going nowhere. And you know who said you're not going anywhere? That was number 9. How impressive was Nathan Gunn? Nathan Gunn just blows that one up. He does it on the other end of the field, carrying the ball for that huge first down. Or was that Keenan Harris?
That was, in fact, Keenan Harris blowing that one up.
All right, Keenan Harris. David Trimble is holding up the number of digits on his hands as the number, but I forgot that he lost a couple of them in a shop accident back in 6th grade. 7-3, 5.5 left before halftime. Hansen takes the snap, looks to his right. He's going to air it out. He does have a receiver. He can't quite get it there. In fact, he had a little bit too much mustard on it. Tried to get it to Bickelmeyer. He did have a step, but that pass had a couple extra steps. Wasn't able to connect. Going to bring up 3rd and a little bit of forever. I think at around 3rd and 20. 3rd and 20 in the far sideline. They are fired up. They are jumping. They are hollering. We're about the 100 or so in the far stands. They're doing the same. They're on their feet. Always on their feet, I should say. And getting off his feet is Mr. Hansen. He was swallowed up. Again, number 8, Keenan Harris. Only a sophomore, leading this team in sacks and tackles. And I had to ask the coaching staff earlier, I said, is he only a sophomore? Because I've watched him on film, and he is one of those players that just And you hear about it. There have been some greats over the years that somehow, no matter where it is on the field, they seem to find the ball, and they're part of a play every time they're on the field. And a fortuitous roll all the way down inside the 1 yard line is going to back up the Junior Bills with 4:39 left before halftime. They're going to have 99 yards to go. In fact, 99 and a half to reach pay dirt and potentially taking the lead. They're down by 4, 7-3. I didn't even have to use a calculator for that, David.
That is very impressive indeed. And let's see if the Junior Bills can put together a very impressive drive, taking us into halftime.
1st and 10. 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen. Single back to the right is Grace. He's going to get the ball. Runs out to the left. Muscles his way to around the 5. That's going to give him just a little bit of breathing room. And about halfway to a first down.
And he carried Coppinger about the last 3 or 4 yards of that run.
He's just a mule out there. Kind of a mule team. But if you watch him, the best runners, their legs move even, as they're being tackled, and that's certainly the case here. Sansone over the middle. Guess who? Number 88. Double 8 again. His second catch of the evening comes at a perfect time for the Junior Bills. That is Landon Pace, leading the Junior Bills in receptions and receiving yards. You'd think, well, that's probably going to be Ryan Wingo. No, not so fast. Mr. Landon Pace doing his best Ryan Wingo impression.
They say imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
Well, that's what they do say.
I'm not sure who they are, but they do say that.
I was just going to say.
I'm not sure who they are, but they do, in fact, say it.
2nd and 8 from their own 28-yard line. Sansone, single back. Going to air it out over the middle again. Guess who? The sure-handed receiving hands of Mr. Pace again for the second time on this drive. Coming up with a 15-yard plus reception. Going to put him just shy, about 3 yards shy of midfield.
And Logan Keckler coming up and putting a pretty good hit on that one.
Sansone, single back, 3 receivers to the top of your screen, and that's where he's looking. Sansone, he's got some green to his right. He's going to go ahead and tuck it and run. Gets out of bounds just inside Rock territory, right around the 49.5. Still plenty of time. 2 timeouts left for the Junior Bills. 2:57 left before halftime. St. Louis University High back inside Rockhurst territory again for the 3rd time today. Hand off. Back to Grace. These teams, both of them, you talk about a 2 or a 3-headed monster. Not sure you can really say that that's the case here because Rockhurst is going to go ahead and call a timeout. Coach Donahoe wants to regroup and kind of marshal the resources. But the talent on this Junior Bills roster, top to bottom, there are a number of underclassmen, including a couple of freshmen. 1 freshman starting, and we've seen 3 of them in the game so far tonight. Just goes to show the stature of the program at St. Louis University High. Able to get some of the top players in that area. Let me tell you this, if you're a standout athlete, and you want to have a chance to play at the next level potentially, or just go out and have fun, which is the number 1 reason that you should play sports. Go out and have good, safe fun. Certainly go into a program. And how about the programs out of the St. Louis area? DeSmet and Cardinal Ritter. Cardinal
CBC.
Ritter. CBC, indeed.
Third down and 3 at the 46.
Those schools not just in one sport, but top to bottom on their athletics roster. Saw CBC up here in an A-10 varsity showcase a couple of years ago. Coach Tatum brought his crew up, an impressive group of young men. Sansone over to Wingo. Wingo, no go, back to the 45-yard line, or excuse me, the 49-yard line. That is Micah Oder. Oder gets blown up on the defensive side earlier, makes up for it there in spades, and he put the work in the wood too, Mr. Wingo.
As Rockhurst calls their second timeout.
Rockhurst, I believe, and very smartly so, last time out thought they could possibly kind of stem the swell, the offense from the Junior Bills. So far, they're doing just that, hoping to have another chance at it before halftime.
And Rockhurst looking to score before halftime because the Junior Bills won the coin toss and they did defer, so they will get the ball to start the second half. So Rockhurst looking to do a little something, give them something to think about over the intermission.
I still hear that quite a bit. You know, give you something to think about. That'll give you something to think about, Sean. My fifth wife used to say that a lot. Last minute personnel change. A little confusion over on the far side. Everything's back in order. 4th and 7 from the 50-yard line. Trying for a hard count. Not going to get it. Coach Cruz says, go ahead, take a couple of steps back. Go ahead and pooch this one. Try to do the same to Rockhurst, but that is not going to take a friendly roll for the Junior Bills. But if you're a fan of the Rockhurst Hawklets, you're mighty pleased with what exactly happened on that punt. Net gain of about 14 yards. Maybe 15. That's going to give Rockhurst reasonable field position with 2.5 minutes before halftime to try to extend their lead, which now sits at 7-3, which is a 4-point lead, David Trimble.
And I'll thank you to put your shoes back on after doing that math.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you.
Let's see what Coach Donahue has dialed up for their 2-minute offense.
Under center is Hansen. He's going to roll out to his left. Under trouble, or he's under pressure. And almost under the big body of number 46. And a big body it is.
Sebastian Tate giving chase, making him throw that one away.
6'3", 230-pound, another sophomore defensive lineman on that play, moving like a linebacker. Evan Hansen, when he has rolled out of the pocket, he has been pressured all night by those defensive ends. And that linebacking crew in that Mike position coming up and kind of spying and chasing him. This time he's going to roll out to his right. To the right side, he's got a receiver. Somehow, let's see what they say. Are they going to give him the reception? He did lose it after he was on the ground. They're going to say no catch. Let's go to our rules expert, Dean Blandino. Dean, don't know if you can hear us. Could you look at that on the replay and tell us what you think?
Well, what I saw was...
See, that is the worst Dean Blandino impression. That is horrible.
I'm going to be honest with you right now. I have no idea who Dean Blandino is. Gene Sarator, if you would have given me
fair
him,
enough.
I could do that.
All right, we'll go to Gene Sarator in a moment. We're going to go right back to the action, 3rd and 10 for Rock. From their own 35-yard line, Hansen under pressure again. He's got a receiver down the line into the waiting mitts of number 5. Touchdown, Rockhurst. Jack Bickelmeyer using all of that 6'5" frame to reach out and grab it and put the Hawklets up 13-3, 2:15 left before halftime.
And that was just a beautifully executed pass and catch, and they are able to get home.
And they had been setting that one up for the last couple of plays. They had it earlier in the game once. Hansen was just a little bit too hot on that one. Kind of lofted it about 2 or 3 yards beyond the reach of Bickelmeyer. But that time it was right on the money and money in the bank. Extra point is up and it's good. 14-3 in favor of Rockhurst. 2:15 left before halftime, and you are watching it live only on a10varsity.com. We'll be right back.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
And welcome back. 14-3 is your score. The Hawklets striking right before halftime. Hansen to Bickelmeyer for 75 yards. Made that one look pretty easy. And now with 2:15 left to go, I know it's somewhat of a cliche, but certainly no bigger drive this game for the Junior Bills than this one right here. As they await the kickoff.
And they do still have 2 timeouts. 2:15, 2 timeouts. Plenty of time to get something done. Get down there and try and get in the end zone or at least get some points.
Here's Kinkler's kick. All the way into the end zone. That's going to be another touchback. Junior Bill's going to have it 1st and 10 from their own 20. They've got 2:15 to work it. 80 yards to get to the west end of this field. This is a little bit atypical for football fields around the Midwest. This runs from east to west. As you're looking at it right now, the Junior Bills are backed up on the east side of the field. On the south side are the stands with the SLUH fans. Sansone takes it. Surveying the defense, and that one's going to be picked off. Picked off by number 3. Logan Kiekler, he just gets done kicking off. He's kind of playing triple duty, special teams, offense, and defense, and no bigger play than that defensive play by Logan Kiekler. And that's going to set up Rockhurst with 1 timeout left and 2:09 to deal and travel 40 yards potentially for a little more breathing room going into the break.
And number 14, Mason Tunley, came up a little bit lame on that one, holding his arm, possibly his side. Hopefully he is all right.
Another handoff to Ryan. Ryan falls forward. He zags around the 37. Gets down to the 35, and an injured Junior Bill on the field. I think that's Gage Nelson. Kind of looked like maybe he was cramping up. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Give us an opportunity to highlight some of the fans over in the stands. For those of you that are joining us from the St. Louis area, are you fans of the Junior Bills?
The dedicated fans to
Indeed.
make that early 4-hour trip and sit out here in the 55-degree
rainy weather. Despite this campus, I've only been over here a couple of times to the Rockhurst campus, but a beautiful one that it is. As I mentioned earlier, Jonathan Plasek, he's a little bit under the weather. But if you were tuning in to the Lee Summit West and Lee Summit North game, you might even hear his voice.
And Carruthers was able to get up and walk off the field on his own power, so we're glad to see that. He'll probably be resting for the remainder of this first half.
2nd and 5 from the 35 of the Junior Bills. 1:59 left before halftime. Hanson under center, 3 backs in the backfield. Gives it to Ryan. Little stutter step, fall ahead to the 34.
And Caden Ebley, the freshman, making that tackle. The underclassman.
Did you say freshman?
I said he is a freshman in high school making that play. The underclassman talent is just so impressive.
Rockhurst is a senior-heavy program. So we see 2 tight ends, fullback. Fullback gets the call. That is Thomas Coppinger. Tommy Coppinger, who kind of started things off for Rockhurst earlier into the game with a 4-yard tumble into the end zone to make it 6-0. Kiekler kick made it 7. 105, 104. 4th and 2 from the 32-yard line of the Junior Bills. Little pitch out. Ryan, he's got some room. Aiden Ryan down to the 12-yard line. And another underclassman, David Trimble, that was Keenan Harris once again, the 6'2", 204-pound sophomore. He made up a lot of ground in a little bit of hurry.
And I definitely think he saved 6 points right then and there.
Keenan Harris, remember that name. 50-49 left on the game clock. And there's going to be some, a little bit of hanky-panky on the ground. Looks like maybe some premature movement.
And, yep, it is going to be
5 yards, pushing the Rockhurst Hawklets back to about there, I'd say the 20, right around the, well, he stopped, I think, right around 4.
On the 18-yard line.
18. Well, okay. You know better than we.
18 minus 5 equals 13, which is where
they
started that drive.
Trips receivers to the top, or excuse me, at the bottom of your screen. Ryan under pressure, has to get rid of it. He's got a waiting hand of Aiden Ryan. Ryan spins down inside the 10. Finally brought down at the 4. How he made 5 yards and a little bit of a spin move like that, I'll never know.
That was a little bit of a Culture Club I'll Tumble For Ya, which came out in 1983.
Well done.
And unfortunately, we have another Junior Bill down. And 1983.
1983.
Not only the first matchup of these two teams, but a fantastic year for music as well.
Well, I see that there's some sort of a food truck over here, and I'm trying to figure out whether or not we should go over there at halftime. I'm not sure what's all in there. What are those? What is that? Is that like Cheetos, maybe? Yeah, I think those are chips.
I would assume that they would probably have some of the standard fare, some nachos and cheese.
But I'm thinking,
maybe a hot dog.
I'm thinking, oh, wait a second, David Trimble.
Some Cheetos.
Oh, right here. The concessions. I don't know that we can make out the prices. I think double cheeseburger, maybe that's one in there. We're able to get back to the action. Walking off under his own power. Glad to see that. Number 19, that is Will Schulte, another sophomore. He's 6'3", 190 pounds as a sophomore. And I was 190 pounds as a sophomore, but I wasn't 6'3". Maybe I was. Pretty darn close. Well, when we get things resumed here, the Hawklets are going to have 22 seconds to finish off this drive. They're all out of timeouts. They've got a 2nd and 2. Ball's going to be spotted right at the 5-yard line of the Junior Bills.
They are able to pick up a first down without getting into the end zone, but with only 22 seconds left and no timeouts, that's a little bit unlikely unless they get a sideline pass or if they can scurry out real fast.
Last time they were in this position, they just pounded it right on the ground, right behind big Andrew Sprague, and this time rolling out to his right. He's going to head for the corner. He's got a receiver. Great heads-up play. Touchdown, Hawklets.
And that was a fantastic catch right there.
Number 14, that is Mason Tunley, the 175-pound, 6'2" senior. But credit Mr. Hansen, because somehow, some way, he rolls out to his right, and I think it was a foregone conclusion that Evan Hansen was just going to kind of dive for the pylon, but he pulls it back before passing the line of scrimmage, and he saw a receiver wide open in the end zone. He says, hey, if I can get rid of it and throw it, it's going to save me a little bit of effort, right? I mean, that's a good 10 steps.
Pad the passing stats a little bit. Spread the love around.
Spread the love around. 21-3. There's a lot of love, a lot of offensive love for Rockhurst right now. And that's going to get the student section on their feet.
On the feet, up where we belong.
Who was that?
That was Jennifer Warrens and Joe Cocker, 1983.
1983. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the songs that came out in 1983. So many, great, memorable events as well, but the music from that year was spectacular. And the music videos, come on. Forget about it. Kiekler getting ready to kick. He was the Hawklet that got things started off, and Wingo doesn't have a chance to show off his skills, and he's got plenty of them. Just seeing that frame out there, he looks like he's on loan from Coach Saban or some big old powerful school, because he certainly looks the part. Older brother, also a standout athlete. Spent a number of years in the NFL. 15 seconds. You would think this is going to be a kneel-down situation. Indeed it is. And with 10 seconds, 9-8, clicking away, the blue-topped Hawklets of Rockhurst going to head to the locker room with a 21-3 lead over the visiting junior Billikens of St. Louis University High, and you are watching it live only on 810varsity.com. We'll be right back.
Biscuits and taquitos and breakfast on a bun. Those are just a few of the things you can make a part of your morning routine at Whataburger. Then again, with so many choices, you could make a routine of not having a routine. But would not having a routine still be a routine? Chew on that for a while. Whataburger breakfast, just like you like it.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure produce meets our standards for feeding your family. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper. At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. We're here before the sun comes up until long after it goes down, working hard to keep prices low for your family. From the cashiers at the front of the store to our teammates in the back. Throughout every department, we're all dedicated to bringing you your favorite food at prices you love. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
Dancers, your music is on.
And welcome back to Severino Field here at Rockhurst High. Have about 7 minutes until we resume action here. Start of the third quarter gives us just a little bit of time to bring you up to speed on some area scores. First on the Missouri side. Right here, you were watching Rockhurst have their way with SLUH so far after 2 quarters of play, 21-3. Liberty North 7, Raypack 0. No score between Lee Summit West and Lee Summit North. Liberty 7 and Lee Summit 0. Park Hill out early, 7-0 over Staley. No score between Park Hill South and Black County. Excelsior Springs up by 1 over Raytown South, 7-6. Winnetonka 6, Ruskin 0. Warrensburg 7, Clinton 0, and Smithville 7-0 over the Dragons of Pittsburgh. The Purple Dragons, in fact. And one other score, Lafayette County 13, Lexington 0. Over on the Kansas side, Shawnee Mission West and Olathe Northwest. They did battle last night. Olathe West, the Ravens came out on top 34-14. Tonight's action, Smithville, as I mentioned, over the Purple Dragons, 7-0. Bishop Miege and Blue Valley West, all tied up at 7 after 1 quarter of play. Mill Valley, all knotted up at 7 with Olathe North. That is early in the second quarter. Olathe South, 7. Shawnee Mission South, 0. The Bison out of Shawnee Mission North over the Owls of Olathe West, 7-0. That is the second quarter score. Basehor Linwood, 7. Seaman out of Topeka, 3. No score between the Wildcats of DeSoto and the Golden Bears out of Turner. And no other scores of note on the Kansas side. Looking at some of the first half stats here between the Junior Billikens and the Hawklets. First for the home team, Aiden Ryan, 102 yards on, if my math is correct, 13 carries, 102 yards, just shy of 10-yard average. Ethan Hansen also getting it done on the ground. He's got 46. And through the air, Ethan Hansen has 112 so far. On the other side for the Junior Billikens, Kaylon Grace, 10 carries, 88 yards. Landon Pace, the big junior target, with kind of those big old mitts. I'm not sure what size his hands are, but I think the technical term is absolutely huge. He's got 3 receptions for 58 yards, and he single-handedly, or I guess you could say two-handedly, kept a couple of drives going for the Junior Billikens. Through the air, Marco Sansone with 38 yards on 5, or excuse me, if I can read my own writing, that would be 68 yards on 4 completions and 1 interception. So relatively balanced here in the first half, except for the scoreboard, David Trimble.
And it is. Both teams with 9 first downs. Just 1 penalty on Rock and 2 penalties on the Junior Bills. So penalties, not too much of an issue. There was the pass interference in the end zone that was a little bit of a point of controversy. Controversy, if you will. And both teams are a little bit more run heavy than pass, but they are making the passes. Of course, the 65-yarder for the touchdown for Rockhurst.
Well, the segue that I was getting ready to make earlier really doesn't apply now, but everybody's wondering, well, how many yards does big old Ryan Wingo have? Arguably the best wide receiver recruit in the nation here, showing his talents for all of us to see on A10varsity.com here at Rockhurst High School. So far, 1 reception, 3 yards. Now, I am not a coach, but I have a hunch that if I'm Adam Cruz, head coach of St. Louis University High, I am going to find a way to get my big All-American more involved in this game. They did try a couple of plays that was more razzle, not as much dazzle in the first quarter, but we'll see how things shake out as we start the third. Let me ask you this, David Trimble. Your coach, Adam Cruz, over on the far sideline. Your team is down by 18 points to Rockhurst. You're on the road. You traveled 4 hours up here. What are you telling your team? How do you get them motivated to come out and play some smash mouth football here to start the second half?
I am telling him that much like Duran, we have got to be hungry like the wolf in this second half.
Let me guess, another 1983.
A 1983 song.
Of course it was.
And, you know, he's going to get them. They have not played a bad game by any means. The defense has been there. They've given up a few big plays to Rockhurst, and I'm not sure if it is necessarily bad defense, but just a little bit better offense. So I would say that they are right in there with this, and they just got to keep their nose to the grindstone, keep going.
I think you're exactly right, David Trimble. Both of these teams are well matched. You look at the stat sheets for both teams, and they're pretty even. You look at kind of the size of the players, you know, offensive, defensive lines, and the athleticism that they have in the backfield versus the secondary. And if you didn't know which team they played on, you'd think, hey, you know, you could pick a couple of perfectly balanced teams out of these rosters. But I think you hit the nail right on the head. Just the big plays. Been able to convert on third down and that 1 4th down and not give up the big pass plays or the long runs. But we are about to see what the strategy is to start the third quarter. We got about 1 minute and 10 seconds where both teams take the field and get things underway again. As David mentioned, the Junior Bills deferred. They won the toss, deferred to the second half, and I see Coach Cruz over on the far sideline. And he is still, he's lobbying. He's still, I think, trying to argue his point from earlier in the game, or at least a couple of those calls that maybe he didn't agree with. I've just been handed a piece of paper, the unofficial attendance here, even though it was a 6 o'clock start. And if, by the way, sidebar, I've had a couple of questions coming into me over Twitter. Why did the game start so early? Well, let me tell you this. If you have to visit, say, Grandma's house, David Trimble, or you're taking the kids somewhere, and you have to drive 4 hours, would you like to have dinner at 5, or do you want to wait until, say, 7 or 8 o'clock?
I think I would rather err a little bit on the early side. And then, you know, these are high school kids. They're used to staying up late, but when you have this game getting over at 9:30, 10 o'clock,
right,
add a 4-hour drive onto that puts them getting back to the home base a little late. So bump it up an hour.
The previous 2 meetings between these two teams, they were both within 3 points, as we said earlier in the broadcast, 13-10, all the way back in 1983, 39 years ago. And then last year's thriller in overtime, 27-24, a walk-off field goal by this young man that just put his foot on the leather of the football. And here is number 1, Ryan Wingo. Look at him go. Trying to find the edge. He gets around the 17-yard line. He is brought down from behind. And the 17 is where the Junior Billikens are going to take over for their first drive of the second half, down by 18 to the home Rockhurst Hawklets.
And I think Coach is over there, much like David Bowie in 1983. He's saying, let's dance.
Oh, my gosh. Well done again. Sansone in the backfield. To his right is Grace. H-back, tight end look. Grace is going to get the call. Tries to get to the left edge. Not much doing. Might have got back to the original line of scrimmage, but not much else. Going to ring up 2nd and 10 for the Junior Bills.
And starting same way they did the first half, starting off with some run game, and I like it. Get the run game going. That opens up the passing later on. Would have liked to have seen a few more yards off that first down.
2nd and 8 from their own 21. Just underway here in the third quarter. Sansone hands it off to Grace to his left side this time. A little bit more fortuitous, but not much. They're going to spot him at the 25. They need to get out to the 29.5 or a reset of downs. That was Micah Forbes.
And a 3rd and manageable here as they're spreading out the field a little bit.
Mitch Forbes, Micah Oder. It is Mitch Forbes.
Mitch Forbes.
But there's Sansone, and that one, well, you know what they say, and what we said earlier in the game. Sometimes you just have to throw that ball up and let one of the best players in the country make a play, and that's exactly what Ryan Wingo did there. A long 3rd down conversion, able to turn a little bit of nothing into something, and he has got his fellow Junior Bills a-cooking. Ball's at the 48-yard line, 1st and 10, St. Louis University High. Sansone again. Going to go right back to the well. This goes to number 15. Number 15 on the roster, that is Joseph Harris, the 6-foot senior, 160-pound receiver, also doing double duty as a defensive back. 5-yard pickup. And so far to start the third quarter, just what the doctor ordered for the Junior Billikens. 2nd and 5 from the 47 of Rock. Hands it off to Grenard. I beg your pardon. He's going to keep it left side. That's Sansone showing off his wheels. Slides for a first down to the 35-yard line. And the chains are moving again. And the sideline on the far side of your screen, they are certainly energetic, would be a fine way to put it. 1st and 10 from the 35 of Rock. Sansone. To the left is Grace. 2 men to the bottom of your screen, 1 to the top. He goes to the top. Back to number, I think that was the same 15. Beg your pardon, that is number 14. Zach Allen, another sensational sophomore, getting a lot of playing time. We've certainly heaped praise on the underclass roster of this Junior Bills team, and for good reason. Grace going to go to the right side. He's got a first down. He bowls over his defender. That's number 11. Once again, Mitch Forbes. And Mitch Forbes is not a small man. Mitch Forbes, 6'3", 225-pound senior. Mitch Forbes, also a former quarterback for the Hawklets. 9:09, 9:08 left to go in the third quarter. 15 on the play clock. 1st and 10 from the 22 of Rock. Sansone, plenty of time, airs it out to the right side, throws it up again. You know who? That is Mr. Wingo. He gets it all the way down to the 1-yard line. Another huge pitch and catch. Get the ball to the hands of your playmakers, and that's what they did. And they have the defense of the Hawklets back on their heels. Wasting no time are the Junior Billikens. Sansone claps for the snap. He's going to look to the sideline. Plenty of time. 17-16 on the play clock. Twin receivers to the top. A little bit of movement on the left tackle, it appears. He did a good job of staying motionless after that. He said, "Did they see me? Did they see me?" "Yes, sir, my friend." They absolutely did. I think that was Avery Williams, who's done a great job in that left tackle situation. 6'4", 267. Look, if I'm 6'4", 267, I'm going to have a hard time standing still for very long.
And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to hide much movement when you're
a big fella.
When you're that size.
Sansone, single back to the left is Grace. Landon Pace to the top of the screen. Standing at the goal line now, being flushed out of the pocket. Throws it out to the corner of the end zone. Incomplete. I believe he would have been out of bounds had he made that reception. That was Zach Allen trying to come up with his second catch of this drive. It's going to bring up 2nd and 7, or 2nd and goal from the 7, rather, for the Junior Billikens. Junior Billikens, nice methodical drive, just chipping away this drive, just shy of 4 minutes to start the third quarter. Here's the coaching staff on the far sideline. You can turn up the open-air mic, get you some sounds of the crowd. Man in motion. Here's Wingo looking for an opening. He cuts it back, pushes the defender out of the way, and his own man. He dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Ryan Wingo. Touchdown, SLUH. Now that is certainly a get healthy drive. That touchdown makes it 21-9, pending the extra point. And the Junior Billikens are right back in this one. And it looks, well, I see that Sansone's still on the field. It looks like they might be going for 2. They have done this a couple of times earlier in the season when they've been in situations where they had to chase some points, but it seems a little bit early, at least from my perspective, to be chasing the points. But
well, and I'm not sure they're on some of the kickoffs. There have been some that have gone a little errant, so I'm wondering if maybe there's something with the wind or something with their kicker.
Sansone, he's got a receiver. That is Grace. He almost pulled it in. Would have been a sensational one-hand catch, but that was a little bit cattywampus of a throw. A very technical football term, cattywampus, and the 2-point conversion fails. So the score stays 21-9, 8:07 left to play in the third quarter, and you are watching it live on your home for high school sports. That is A10varsity.com. Be right back.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure produce meets our standards for feeding your family. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
So if you're just joining us after that halftime, you look at the score, say, wait a second. Didn't the Junior Billikens just have 3 about 4 minutes ago? Indeed, you would be correct. But they have increased that 3 to 9. The 2-point conversion failed. Now they will be kicking off to the waiting Hawklets back deep. For Rockhurst, standing at his own, say, about 7-yard line,
is Micah Oder.
David Trimble said the first couple of kickoffs, 2 kickoffs that we've seen, didn't exactly go the way that I think, and a fair catch, and that's a smart play, and he loses the handle, and it looks like they're going to say indeed. And the Junior Billikens follow up the touchdown with a great special teams heads-up play, and that ball ricocheted off the waiting hands of a Hawklet right into a Junior Billikens paws. And we need to get a little bit of correction on that Billiken. We're going to talk about what a Billiken is, and I can assure you that a Billiken does not have paws. But no pausing for these Junior Billikens. They are right back out there on offense. He had so much fun the first drive from scrimmage in the third quarter. They're going to do it again. And they're going to set up shop at the 35-yard line of Rockhurst, their best starting field position of the day. Trips to the near side, single back to the right side of Sansone is Grace. Sansone once stared out again. Instead, he's going to dump it off. Check down to number 21. And Grace not only can get it done by himself with his legs, he's also got some nice hands, as we saw on that little screen. 2nd and 7 from the 32 of Rockhurst. Not to sound too cliche, but talk about a momentum switch and how big could this drive be. We're able to put 7 and potentially, or at least 6, potentially 7, maybe 8 points on the board. 8, 7, 6 on the play clock. running out of time, and that's trouble. The ball hits the turf, and Grace alertly picks it up. I think Grace was looking for maybe an unnecessary roughness call, but the purist of the sport would say that's just football, but you could certainly see why he was a little bit displeased with that. But good job by the sophomore, Kaylon Grace, to get on top of it, try to make something out of nothing.
And that was Coppinger, Thomas that is, back there, just making a good hard football play.
3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Single back is Grace to the left. He's looking to his right, trying to find big number 1. He's got big number 1 right there, but he looks beyond him, and he's going to go right back to Mr. Reliable, the Travis Kelce so far out here on the field. That is Landon Pace. Landon Pace, he kind of has some of that Delaney Walker vibes, or the Vernon Davis-like frame. And he does a great job of getting his hands up. He doesn't use his body to catch it, because when you have hands that strong, now we have a little hanky-panky on the field. At the 39-yard line. Now it's going to be a hold.
As Don Henley said, a little bit of dirty laundry. 1983.
That was another 1983. What a year for music. If this was a ladies or girls football game, we'd certainly shout out to Cyndi Lauper, because
girls
Cindy
just
said
want to have fun.
That's right, but in this case, it's these young men, and they are having fun, and so are we. Watching the Junior Billikens come out, hair on a fire, 6:20 left in the third quarter. Sansone lets it out, big number 1, and he's going to draw a pass interference call. And I think you could probably hear, to the displeasure of the Rockhurst faithful here on the near side, or I guess right below where we have the camera and the microphone, you can hear them politely and respectfully disagree with that call. But from way up here atop the press box, certainly looked like the right call. And we do have Halloween coming up, so maybe they're booing just in preparation for their Halloween parties.
Or they've been listening to a little bit of Culture Club, and they're saying, do you really want to hurt me?
Oh, my.
1983.
1983. If you're just joining us and wondering, what are all these 1983 references? Well, that was the first time these two teams met. The next time was, last year, about 1 year ago. Rockhurst visited SLUH down on their home turf, and they escaped with an overtime victory, 27-24. At the rate we're going, we're headed for another one that's going to come down to the last play of the game. There's Grace, a little off balance. Somehow he zigs and he zags. He cuts back, and inside the 20-yard line, he has enough for a first down and a little bit more on top. 1st and 10, Junior Billikens. Kaylon Grace using that 185-pound, 5'10" frame. He is what my good friend Chance Lebo would call kind of like the muscle hamster, because he is certainly, you can see it from here. See that bunch set here on the near side, short side of the field. Sansone takes a snap. He's being flushed out of the pocket, and he almost runs into a Hawklet. Somehow he's able to avoid the defenders. He gets crunched around the 10-yard line, but that's going to be awful close to first down. Now, if my eyes are correct, I'm going to say that was a helmet-to-helmet contact. I think Sansone was in a very precarious position as he was going down. I think the officials, there we go. That's going to go against the Hawklets. If you're Coach Terry Donahoe, this is absolutely not the start of the second half that you were looking for, David Trimble.
And I would think maybe, much like Golden Earring, I would think I was in the Twilight Zone.
Wow.
1983, a fantastic year.
Fantastic.
For music.
And videos. Music videos. And cinema, indeed. Return of the Jedi. Well, we're about to see the return of the Billikens to the end zone if they keep this up. 1st and goal from the 5. Sansone to the right. Getting the call. to the right, back to the left, into the end zone. Touchdown, Junior Billikens. Kevon Grace finds the end zone for the first time this evening, and he makes it 21-15 in favor of Rockhurst. Let me ask you this, David Trimble. If I would have said that, hey, in the first 7 minutes, not even the first 7 minutes of the third quarter, the Junior Billikens are going to come out. They're going to score at least 12 points. You would have said what?
I would have said, just like naked eyes, promises.
And that is
promises.
blocked. That is blocked. So there will be no promises. Exactly right. There will be no extra point. So the last touchdown, they elected to go for 2. They did not get it. That extra point is blocked. Talk about leaving points on the table. And in a game that's probably going to go down to the last play.
As they all do.
As they all do. Thank you. Thanks for stealing my line there, David Trimble. 21-15, 5:13 left in the third quarter. Well, we're going to keep it right here. Are we? You know what? I think we're going to pay a couple of bills. We're going to be right back. Live on a10varsity.com.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure produce meets our standards for feeding your family. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
(21-15), 5:13 left in the third quarter. Third quarter, the Junior Billikens coming out. They are hitting on all cylinders. Score 12 quick points to make this a 6-point game. So we're about to see the kickoff. Back deep for Rock again is Micah Oder. Standing at his 10. The first 3 kickoffs are an indication he could probably come up just a little bit. We'll see how special teams for Rock rebounds after that fumble. And this one, another one is high, and that's going to be trouble. And it looks like the Junior Billikens, for the second time in a row, come up with it. It did go the requisite 10 yards. And indeed, that's exactly what the call. We do have an injured Junior Bill on the ground, but a lot of excitement on that far sideline. And how important have special teams been today?
And it's been a little bit of a tale of 2 halves on this one. I would have said the special teams for, well, I guess special teams and defense for Rockhurst was a little bit better in the first half. They had the interception. But then, yeah, this second half, they have just turned up the pressure, have the Junior Billikens. And we were going to talk about what a Billiken is, for those of you that don't know.
And we're going to talk about that momentarily, but we're moments away from the start of the third drive. 5:08. How about this? 5:08 left in the third quarter. In this third quarter, the Junior Bills have had 2 drives. Rockhurst has only touched the ball 2 times. And both of those times resulted in a special teams turnover, if you will. Down the sideline, pushed out of bounds, I think. Not sure who's going to come up with that snag. Nate Gunn was the intended receiver. 5'9", 163-pound senior. Been in a lot of the plays. He's doing a great job. Despite his size, he does a fantastic job of blocking downfield as well. 2nd and 10 from the 44 of Rock. Sansone looks to his left. He's got Grace. Grace has the edge and a little bit more. There's Kalon Grace. First down, +3, down to the 31-yard line of Rockhurst. But there is a flag thrown on the far side.
And if the crowd right below us is any indication, I think that's going to be a block in the back.
Well, that would be a hold. And that is the 4th holding call. And talk about a drive and a momentum killer. And the student section of Rockhurst reminding the Junior Bills that they cannot do that.
You know what else you can't do? You can't hurry love.
Another 1983.
1983.
That's another one from 1983. Phil Collins.
Yeah, Phil Collins. You can't
So
hurry
I think
love.
Easy Lover was right around that time, too.
I think it was.
Easy Lover. Well, if you're a Junior Billiken fan, it's easy to love what you've seen so far in this second half. Sansone again. He's going to pull it back. Going to let that one go. And intercepted. Intercepted on the far sideline. That is number 23 for the Hawklets, and he is fired up. That is Ben Stringer, the 5'11", 165-pound senior defensive back, comes up with a huge interception for the Hawklets.
And he was coming over to let his student section know we are still in this. This is our house. Madness, 1983.
Another one. The hits just keep coming. A10 Varsity, we're not a radio station, but I tell you what, not a good reference to some fantastic songs from 1983. 4 receivers to the bottom of your screen. That's Hayden Ryan behind them all, looking for some blockers. Hayden Ryan cuts it back. Hayden Ryan, he's got plenty of room, cuts it back to the 15, push down to the 10. 1st and 10 from the 11 for Rockhurst. Hayden Ryan travels 45 yards, and it puts Rockhurst in a fantastic position with 4:16 left in the 3rd quarter.
And Archie Carruthers, number 61, was the one that stayed home and made that tackle. He didn't go for all of the putting on the Ritz.
Oh, wow.
The dancing.
Okay, 1st and 10 from the 11. They can get another 1st down if they do need it. Little pitch out to Ryan. Cuts it back. Brought down inside the 5. They're going to spot him at the 3. 3 yards to go for 6 more points for Rockhurst. This would certainly be, as I mentioned for the Junior Bills, kind of a get-right drive that they had earlier in this quarter. This would be one of those get-right drives for Rockhurst. Under center is Hansen. Ethan Hansen pitches it out to Ryan. Ryan does his job and walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Rockhurst. Aiden Ryan. Aiden Ryan from 3 yards out makes it 27-15, 3:18 left in the 3rd quarter.
And this has just been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster of a 3rd quarter here.
Indeed it has. Emotional roller coaster, listening to all those songs you've been reciting off there, David Trimble.
Well, it's only human nature. Michael Jackson, Thriller.
Michael Jackson, Thriller. Going for 2 are the Hawklets. Why not go back to big Mr. Ryan? But he is not going to get there. He is stood up at the 2, maybe the 3-yard line. And once again, the score is going to stay the same after the touchdown. No extra point, no 2-point conversion. 27-15, 3:18 left to play in the 3rd quarter. And you were watching it live only on a10varsity.com. We'll be right back.
that carryout comes in clutch.
We will have a first and 10 and return
27-15,
20.
3:18 left in the third. Junior Bills on for the fourth time. They're going to be touching the ball in this third quarter. Two of the times previously resulted in points, 12 to be exact. Mixed extra point and 2-point conversion. 12-point spread between these two teams. The 5-2 St. Louis University High squad making the 4-hour journey up I-70. Coming in here to Severino Field, the Rockhurst High. Hands it off to Grace again beyond the 21, 22-yard line. Yards coming a little bit tougher for the sophomore Kaylon Grace.
Yeah, and Coppinger in there on the stop along with Micah Oder. Those two have been doing their part on both sides of the ball.
2:52, 2:51 left here in the third. 15 on the play clock. Not a lot of urgency, nor do they need to have it right now. Sansone to the right. He is Mr. Grace. Sansone looks to his left. Got plenty of time. He's going to roll out. Buy him a little more time, and he's got big number 1. Somehow he's out of that tackle and into another one, but not before picking up a first down and 5 more yards. 1st and 10, Junior Bills. Gets it out to the 36-yard line.
And that was a fantastic kind of a little Olay move to avoid that tackle and pick up the additional yards.
First and 10 from their own 36. Grace, short gain of 4. Grace had nearly 90 yards in the first half since then. And Grace, not sure if that is Grace on the field. We have another injured Junior Bill. That'll give us just a moment to bring you up to speed on some area scores. Compliments of A10varsity.com. As I mentioned earlier, a number of high-profile games going on in the Kansas City area, as well as out to central Kansas and central Missouri as well. A little side note, looks like possibly just a cramp. And pops right back up he does is Mr. Grace, so we'll get to those scores here in a minute or 4. 27-15. About the only thing that can bring down Mr. Grace right now is a cramp. Over 100 yards from scrimmage for the sophomore running back. Second and 6 from their own 40-yard line. See who spells Mr. Grace in the backfield. I believe that is number 5. 5 for the Junior Bills, but again, that is going to be Ryan Wingo. He almost steals the ball out of number 5s. Now, as we say the numbers of these young student athletes, I think that might have been Kyron Ellaby. We didn't receive a roster or the 2 deep until a couple hours before the game, so doing our best. We're trying to effort the names and numbers of everybody. Certainly, no disrespect to these student athletes. Sansone waits for the snap, hands it off. There's number 8. And Keenan Harris. It's swallowed up. That's going to bring up 4th and about 2. Let's see where they spotted. 4th and about 1. Maybe not even quite 1. Big call here for the Junior Bills. Down by 12 points. Less than a minute to play in the third quarter. Coming back into the game is Grace.
Good to see that young man able to get back out there on the field.
7-6 on the play clock. They're going to give it to number 21, and he is not going to get there. He is stood up. Stood up on that 4th and 1. He didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. And turnover on downs. 1st and 10, Rock.
And Jack Manning, number 62 for Rockhurst, was fired up that they were able to make that stop and get that turnover on downs and get their defense or their offense back out there.
31 seconds left in the third quarter. Rockhurst, second drive of the third quarter. First drive, their last drive, resulted in 6 points. They went for the 2-point conversion, could not convert. Hansen waits for the snap. Little razzle-dazzle, little flea flicker, back to Hansen. Tries to go back, he finds it. No flag on the play. Tried to get it to Mitch Forbes. Mitch Forbes was there. He might have turned right when he could have turned left, but nonetheless, incomplete pass. Some of the animated comments that we hear down below. All in fun, of course. These officials do a fantastic job. Of course, we're all human. Mistakes are made. 2nd and 10 from the 45-yard line of the Junior Bills. Here's Hansen. Hand off to the fullback, Coppinger. Coppinger tripped up, gain of 3.
Coppinger was very big on that last defensive stand, holding the Junior Bills. Now he's doing it on the offensive end, chipping away, trying to get that ball moving a little bit.
Sorensen, it was. 27-15, 3 quarters are in the books. We're going to come back, and Rock's going to have a 3rd and 8 from the 43 of the Junior Bills. And you were watching it live, only on the 810varsity.com. Production crew. We'll be right back.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure to keep our shelves stocked with the affordable, high-quality food your family loves. We're here to ensure the products you want are always right where you need them, when you need them. And with budget-friendly options on every shelf, you can be sure you're getting the very best for less. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
And we are back here at the start of the 4th quarter.
Friends, whether it's balls or strikes, fouls or flags, your referees and game officials are a vital part of high school athletics. If you've ever tried your hand at officiating, well, you know how hard these men and women work, and you certainly know they'd never miss a call intentionally. We're all human. Keep these things in mind as you attend sporting events, regardless of the competition, level, or age group. Message brought to you by your friends here at A10 Varsity, as well as the Missouri State High School Activity Association. Under pressure, gets it away somehow. And again, fantastic rebound off the ground, really off the back of the defender. And they're going to, I think that SLUH is saying that his knee touched the ground, but at least from this vantage point, I don't think that it did. Be able to watch it back on replay.
And Coppinger, from my vantage point, it looked like he was able to stay up and keep that play alive, picking up the first down.
Tommy Coppinger had the 4-yard run earlier in this game to get things going. And somehow we've got some breeze coming through here in the press box. There's Aiden Ryan pushing through for 2. I think we just lost a Chinese menu and a couple other things up here in the press box. Okay.
But much like Frank Stallone said in 1983, this one's far from over.
Okay. All right.
Frank Stallone.
But that is true. 27-15. As mentioned last year, went down to the wire. It took an extra few minutes for Rockhurst to come out with a 27-24 win in overtime. Could be headed that way again. Hansen going to keep it himself, scrambles to the left, tries to cut back, cuts out, and he cannot find any forward progress. That's a good football play by the defense. That was Harris with the tackle. 3rd and 11 for Rockhurst from the 34, almost 35-yard line of SLUH. You got to think at this juncture of the game, try to get half of it now if you're Rockhurst. As they hurry up, they've got 3 seconds too. Hansen has a wide open Forbes, and he cuts back inside the 20, 15, falls to the 14, first down, Rockhurst.
And that was just determination.
Mitch Forbes, the 6'3", 225-pound senior, from his tight end position. He's certainly fleet of foot for that size. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line of SLUH. I formation. Hand off to the fullback. Up the middle, there's Sorensen, and he's in two. No indication yet. Now, of course, Rockhurst, the players on the field, tried to give the officials a hand in making that call. But 1st and goal from about the half-yard line now for the Hawklets.
And he just, there was a hole wide open, like somebody left the barn door open, and he just ran right through that, straight up the middle.
1st and goal from the 1. 9:04 left in the 4th quarter. Hansen under center, out of the eye, the power eye. Gets it to Aiden Ryan, and he's in for the touchdown. Touchdown, and there was that's going to be a taunting flag. I think Aiden Ryan might have stood over his defender just about a second too long. And out came the flags. That will not negate the touchdown in high school, but that will impact the coming play. Personal foul called. That will be assessed on the kickoff. Coach Donahoe.
There was a penalty flag after the play, that ball, personal foul against Rockhurst.
33-15. 2-point conversion forthcoming. Ball spotted at the 2-yard line. 2.5 technically. Under center again. Hansen rolls out. He wants to throw it. He's got a receiver. Cannot hang on to it. Try to get it to Mason Tunley, and his big 6'2" frame could not come up with it. And both of these teams, after the last 3 touchdowns that have been scored in this contest, there have been no extra points, no 2-point conversions, and we are stuck at 33-15. 8:55 left in regulation. You're watching it live on 810varsity.com. Be right back.
Biscuits and taquitos and breakfast on a bun. Those are just a few of the things you can make a part of your morning routine at Whataburger. Then again, with so many choices, you could make a routine of not having a routine. But would not having a routine still be a routine? Chew on that for a while. Whataburger breakfast, just like you like it.
Remember to be environmentally conscious by recycling the plastic bottles that you place in the red bin. Help Rockers be a little more green for this generation playing in front of us and beyond, and help keep the area around your seat clean.
18-point spread between Rockhurst and SLUH, 33-15. 8:55 left in regulation. Following the personal foul against the Hawklets, they will be kicking off from their own 25-yard line. Ryan Wingo walking from west to east. Now stands at his own 25. And for Keekler's kick, and it falls off the tee again. It's been a little bit breezy, gusty. We've had a kind of all seasons. We had the bright sun for a little while right before the game started. Then we had the wind. Then we had the rain. Haven't had any snow or hail. At least yet anyway. That one is a high kick. Going to be taken at the 35. Rightfully. Fair catch call by Keenan Harris. Smart play for that sophomore. Good heads-up play. So 8:55 left for the Junior Billikens to try to make their ride home back to St. Louis a little more enjoyable. Got to make up a lot of ground in a little bit of time. That's 18 points. Repossession game. Both teams have all their timeouts left. Empty backfield, 3-by-2. Wide splits for the offensive line. Pass situation. Sansone lets it go for big number 1, and he almost pulled that down. I think Rockhurst fans wanted a offensive PI call. They're not going to get it. That's just an athlete going up trying to make a play. And he almost did. It did hit him in the hands. But good defense being applied. That's not an easy job for any defender to go up against a big fella like Ryan Wingo, one of the best in the country. 3-man front for the Hawklets. Sansone tries to get it over to Mr. Reliable. A little bit too far out in front of him. Landon Pace can't bring that in for his 5th catch of the evening. Down to about 53 degrees with the wind. The feel-like temperature is 42. But I can assure you those student athletes down in the field don't care what the temperature is. For SLUH, they are just trying to make it another 50 yards down the field. And right over the middle, in and out of the hands. Now, that is something you don't see very often. Ryan Wingo, he had it, and I think he might have been thinking about, beg your pardon, the end zone before he came up with that catch. Because had he caught that, not exactly sure there's going to be somebody there to catch him.
And he was in full stride. He just, I think the opposite of he heard the footsteps, he saw the wide open pastures.
3-by-2 empty backfield. Sansone waits for the snap. 10-9 on the play clock. He gets it, looks to his left, goes back to the middle of the field, and nobody is home. Another turnover on downs. 1st and 10 Rockhurst. 8:32 left to play in regulation. Tommy Coppinger credited with that pressure. Kind of forcing into a bad throw. There was about 3 blue-topped jersey players. Now with 8:32, you got to think that Coach Donahoe is going to do whatever he can to get this clock in motion. The ball to his big running back, Mr. Ryan, but now he's out of the pistol. Single back set, 2-by-2, and just as I say that, they're going to go right for broke. And somehow, some way, that is Jack Bickelmeyer for the 2nd time tonight, making a huge reception for the Hawklets. This one takes them down to the 7-yard line. 1st and goal, Rockhurst.
And that's just a gut punch, I got to think, for the Junior Billikens. After having that momentum and then stalling out on that last drive, coming up on 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, giving up that big play.
Hansen to hand off. Right up the middle. And Van Fan. I beg your pardon, that is Pierce Fisher. Getting some quality touches for the 170-pound sophomore. 7:49, 7:48 left here in the fourth quarter. 33-15, favor the home team. They are 4 yards away from adding to that 33-point total. Hand off. A little pitch, I should say, to the right. That's going to come back. Able to get it into the end zone, but that one is not going to count. They're going to bring that back. It looked to be a hold. Indeed, it was. Oftentimes, there will be holds on pretty much every play, but unless that hold impacted the outcome of the play, you don't always see it called. That one certainly had a direct impact on the outcome of the play. That's going to bring back the Hawklets 10 yards. Still be second down from the 15. So second and goal from the 15-yard line. Rockhurst going the wrong way if you're a Rockhurst fan. But if you're a Junior Billiken, you're saying, hey, as much as we can push them back, all the better. Once again, Rockhurst wasting no time, breaking the huddle, coming right to the line, calling the play. Little back shoulder throw. Touchdown! Touchdown, Rockhurst. Jack Bickelmeyer gets his Rockhurst team all the way down the field with an amazing reception. Coach Donahue and the coaching staff decide to let him finish it off. He pulls that one in for another 6, making it a 39-15 spread in favor of the home team.
And it does look like they are bringing out the field goal, or the extra point team, if you will.
Logan Kiekler. Good snap, good hold, up and through. And we're at 40. 40-15. Up to a 25-point spread between these two teams. 7:24 left to play in regulation. Friends, tonight's game is not only a competitive contest between these two schools, but it's also an educational experience for the students involved. Because high school activities are all about learning life values, your friends here at A10 Varsity and the Missouri State High School Activity Association remind everyone to do their part in keeping our hometown sports a positive experience for everyone involved. When you attend your next game, do your part to help rekindle the spirit of citizenship by showing good sportsmanship. You'll be teaching a positive lesson to the kids, and oftentimes the adults around you. You'll be helping to preserve a proud tradition throughout the Midwest. And around these parts, we might not agree with each other all the time, but on the whole, we know how to respect each other's viewpoints with civility and dignity. Speaking of viewpoints, I feel I need to share some disturbing information about my good friend David Trimble, who says that he enjoys mustard on his chocolate cake. Mustard on chocolate cake. Can you believe such a thing? Comments, David Trimble?
Don't knock it until you try it, would be all I have to say. Have you yourself had it?
I have not.
I don't think so.
No intentions of doing so, but hey, maybe it's the next thing.
But it's got to be one of those things. It's specifically a German chocolate cake.
Okay.
And, you know, the tangy of...
That's kind of a tangy, hanging kickoff. Fair caught at the 31. That is Robert Lawyer, 6'1", 165-pound senior. does a good job of corralling that one. And at 45-15, 25-point spread, 7:23 left in regulation. Junior Billikens have a lot of work cut out for them. But as we saw to start this second half, it only took them about 3.5 minutes for a methodical drive down the field, and march right down they did and put up 6 quick points, turned it around and did it again with 6 more. They could do the same here. They'd put them right back into the game. There's Mr. Wingo, and he is hit hard on the side, and that looked like kind of a shot right to the ribs. I feel that, young man. I've been the recipient of a couple of those over the years as well. Shout out to my third wife. You see Mr. Wingo kind of wincing in pain. Hopefully he's all right. Well,
and we are.
Maybe I should read that sportsmanship quote just a little bit louder here for some of the people down below.
And we are glad to see that young man able to get up and get
Absolutely.
off the field on his own power. Hopefully he is all right.
He's already had kind of a rough senior campaign with injuries. We hope that he can stay healthy and display his talents. And as he goes on to the next level, we'll see a lot of him on Saturdays in the coming years, wherever he decides to take his talents. You're going to be seeing the rest of this game here on 18 Varsity for the final 6.5 or 6:45. And that's going to be a hold, no doubt about it. And that might have been one of those frustration plays. They know that the time is ticking away, 25 points to make up. Trying to get that one by the officials, but that was a little bit too obvious.
And the proverbial hand in the cookie jar just got caught on that one. And that's going to, as you said before, if you're a Junior Bills fan, you're going the wrong way. If you're a Rockhurst fan, you're doing your job.
Bring you a couple of scoring updates after this play, courtesy of a10varsity.com. 1st and 20 from their own 33. Sansone fires a rocket. I think he saw a white shirt over on the Rockhurst sideline. Didn't realize that was Coach Donahoe until he let it go. Say that tongue-in-cheek, of course. How impressive has this senior quarterback been tonight? Coming in, he's always calm, cool, and collected. Watching him on film, he's the same way. He may be under pressure, but somehow he just always keeps his cool. Some quarterbacks, they kind of get happy feet, or they kind of do one of those Jimmy Garoppolo over the middle, 10-yard pass. Hopefully somebody with the right jersey catches it. And there he is again. Sansone's going to tuck it and run, gets out of bounds. Clock's going to stop, and that is a late hit. You can understand it. I know that Rockhurst fans aren't going to agree with it, but I would just remind them, not that any of them are in the stands that are listening to me right now, you're up by 25 points, 40-15. We'll just leave it at there. So mention a couple of scoring updates just down the road. Lee Summit West and Lee Summit North, the battle of unbeatens here in Kansas City. Currently all tied up at 14. That's a second quarter score. Blue Springs South 21, Blue Springs 10. Park Hill 14, Staley 7, and Liberty 9, Lee Summit 0. Sansone steps into it. Tried to get it to Landon. Mr. Pace watched it sail by. Oak Park 15, St. Joe Central 14. Raytown 20, Belton 7. The Eagles out of Green Valley 41, William Crispin 8. Excelsior Springs 14, Raytown South 6. And Platte County 14, Park Hill South 7. 2nd and 10 from the 41-yard line of the Hawklets. Running out to his right, Sansone decides to tuck in to run again. He is now over 125, and there's another needless. I That's one of those you have to be, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, you got to be disciplined enough to pull up when you see the runner giving himself up, especially when it's a quarterback going out of bounds. You touch him once he passes that sideline, you're going to get a flag, and rightfully so. Down here on the near side, looks like backup quarterback Brady Nolan is warming up. And that personal foul call is going to advance Junior Bills just a little bit closer to where they need to go for some more points. I think Coach Donahoe is going to pull his crew over, and this might be what you would call a, quote, teachable moment. Well, he's not going to talk to his team. He's going to talk to the official, probably look for a little clarification. Bring up to speed on a few more scores. So as I said, Oak Park 15, St. Joe Central 14, Capital City 28, Truman 7. Over to the Kansas side, Cape and Mount Carmel 21, St. James 7. Blue Valley Northwest, Blue Valley North 14-0, halftime score. No score between Blue Valley and St. Thomas Aquinas. Reminder, St. Thomas Aquinas is the team that Rockhurst paid a visit to 2 weeks ago. They were down by almost 30 points at halftime. Came back and won in overtime. Blue Valley West 13, Bishop Miege 7. The Jaguars out of Blue Valley West up by 6 over, well, the team that many would say is the best in the state. And the team, well, one of the best, Gardner Edgerton, would certainly have something to say about that. 2nd and 10 from the 16 of Rock, 6:24 left in the fourth quarter. 40-15 in favor of the home team. Sansone over the middle, another interception. And this one has a chance at a nice return, but a great now defensive effort by Joseph Harris. And Tommy Coppinger, have yourself a game, young man. All he does is score touchdowns and makes big plays.
He's doing it on both sides of the ball. If we're giving out a player of the game,
the A-10 varsity player of the game,
my vote would be for him for sure.
For those that are wearing the blue tops, that certainly would be a candidate for player of the game. Aiden Ryan, Ethan Hansen as well, but on the far sideline, take your pick. They're seriously, they're just little studs. They've got athletes at every position. And underclass, senior, all the way down to freshmen that are contributing. Extremely impressive. More scoring updates. Back to the Kansas side. Lawrence Free State 9, Lawrence 7. Olathe North 14, Mill Valley 7. Correction now, Olathe North 21, Mill Valley 7. Shawnee Mission South and Olathe South all knotted up at 14 apiece. Shawnee Mission North 22, Olathe West 0. Shawnee Mission East 7. Cougars. Shawnee Mission Northwest 6. Baser Linwood and Topeka Seaman in a tight one. Right now, the Bobcats of Baser Linwood up by 4, 14-10. DeSoto over Turner, 21-0. Manhattan and Lansing. Right now, the Indians of Manhattan up 14-0. The reigning 6A champion in Kansas. Piper and Leavenworth, no score. Last night, as I said, Olathe Northwest toppled Shawnee Mission West, and right now, 1st and 10. From the 17, their own 17, Rockhurst, new quarterback into the game, as well as a new running back, as I mentioned earlier.
It's the number 1, Robert Purcell.
Charlie Luce, 6'1", 175-pound junior, Charlie Luce in. And quarterback for Rockhurst.
And Robert Purcell was getting the carry on that one. Number 1.
Both of these teams, they have kind of opposite style of games that they're going to be facing next week. Nice little spin move. Bobby Purcell, senior running back, showing off his athleticism. Good stop by the defense to crawl him down. But for the visiting Junior Billikens out of St. Louis University High next week, it doesn't get any easier. They have a showdown with Cardinal Ritter coming into tonight's games. They have a game with another undefeated Class 4, but they are 7-0. There'll be 7 o'clock kickoff down in St. Louis, while the Hawklets of Rockhurst, they're going to have a bus trip of their own, a little bit more than 4 hours. They're going to travel all the way down to Oklahoma City to battle against a school down there to finish out their regular season. It'll be the Patriots of Oklahoma City. The game will take place in Yukon, Oklahoma.
I hear it's lovely this time of year.
Back in punt formation. Gets it off. Kind of a low punt. It's going to spin back around midfield. Takes a Junior Bill roll back to the 47, or they're going to have it 1st and 10. 4:03 left in regulation. We have Halloween coming up, but Thanksgiving not far from here. Let's see about the turkey.
Stick a fork in it?
Sure. Yes. Stick a fork. That's good enough. I thought you were going to come up with some 1983 reference there. Something about a turkey in a song. I don't know.
I was told to take it easy with the 1983
Thank you very much.
Song references. I was just a little excited about the quality of music.
But you're right.
From
any of you music aficionados, head out the old internets and look at some of the songs that were released in 1983. It's a spectacular list. A spectacular running back, Lon Grace. The future of this team for St. Louis University High is as bright as any that we've seen this year, partner. They have, and I've said it many times tonight, they have so much talent on both sides of the ball. They have underclassmen that are getting incredibly valuable minutes on the road in a game like this that will pay dividends this year and in the coming years as well. Sansone takes the snap, rolls to his left, looks to the sideline, nobody there. Had to get rid of that one. David Trimble, you have some stat updates for us.
I do. We have, for the second half, it has been a little bit more positive for Rockhurst than the Junior Billikens. We're looking at 14 first downs to just 7 for the Junior Billikens. Penalties, been a little bit of an issue for both teams in this second half.
And Sansone leads his receiver where he wants him to go. And that is a Division I reception. Ryan Wingo, far side. He hasn't lit up the stat sheet tonight. But as you saw in that play, his team's down by 25 points with just over 3 minutes left in this one. And he is still playing like it's 0-0 and 2 seconds left on the clock, trying to make a play for his team. Testament to him and his work ethic, and testament to these coaches on the far sideline. Sansone going back to the middle again, and there he is. He is finally rewarded for his handiwork. That is Landon Pace. That is his 7th reception on the evening, his first touchdown. He is now over 100 yards receiving on the night for the junior tight end. Once again, another two-headed, three-headed, five-headed monster. They can get you from all kinds of different directions.
And that was another dangerous pass that was eerily similar to the one that got picked off on their last drive down. This one, they're able to connect, get in the end zone for 6, and looking to add point number 7 right now. Kick is up, and it is good.
40-21, 22 after that kick. 3:01 left in regulation. Step aside just for a moment. You're watching it live. Only on a10varsity.com. We'll be right back.
That carryout comes in clutch.
(40-22), 3:01 left to play in this one. Rockhurst 3 minutes and a second away from notching victory number 7 on the year. Mentioned earlier, their only loss, a blemish to Liberty North. Team that pretty much everyone loses to. Both of these teams are going to be setting nice going into district play. But I'm going to read you the district pairings. First for District 3. That is the district that SLUH is a part of. Right after this kickoff. That one's kind of that high wobbler again. Fair catch. No. Little miscommunication. Officials say that it was recovered by Rockhurst. That could have been, and look, 258, 18 points, 3-possession game. Hey, we've certainly seen crazier things happen. I can assure you that Coach Donahoe and the coaching staff here at Rockhurst are going to be working on special teams play and kickoff coverage as well in the coming days. But the District 3 bracket that St. Louis University High is a part of is, just Hazelwood Central, Hazelwood West, Pattonville, Rittenhour, and DeSmet. Up here in District 6 for Rockhurst, Lee Summit High, Lee Summit North, Lee Summit West, Ray Peck. First game of the season, we saw Ray Peck and Rockhurst do battle right here. Hawklets came out with a 31-0 win to kind of set the stage for a little run to get to 6-1. If things hold true, that's going to drop SLUH to a record of 5-3. So they head into a showdown with Cardinal Ritter. That's also going to be a 6 o'clock game next week. Or 3 on the play clock, 2:14 on the game clock. That's a good job of the quarterback. I know he wanted to let that one go, but he did the right thing by just tucking it in, protecting the ball, and letting that clock run. Timeout. That's going to be their second one for the Junior Billikens. 2:04 left in this one. 40-22, 18-point spread for the Rockhurst Hawklets. We're going to be right back here on a10varsity.com.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure to keep our shelves stocked with the affordable, high-quality food your family loves. We're here to ensure the products you want are always right where you need them, when you need them. And with budget-friendly options on every shelf, you can be sure you're getting the very best for less. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
Timeout, 12 Rockers, that's 32.
Back to the action, 3rd and 12 from their own 32. Rolling out to his left. Able to make the throw and a reception. Ethan Hansen lets it rip. I think that was Micah Oder on the far side. I beg your pardon, that's Tommy Coppinger.
That was almost a little Mahomes-esque kind of sidearm flick on that one.
And Coach Donahoe sent his first team back on the field to get that first down. Kind of reaching the freezer for some ice. 137, 136, 40-22. Final minute and a half here at Severino Field at Rockhurst High School. Beautiful central Kansas City, Missouri. Appreciate you joining us this evening for this early evening battle between these two teams with proud traditions.
I don't see the ball being put in the air for the rest of this game.
I think that's safe to say.
I think they're going to keep this one on the ground as we just dip under 1 minute.
Yeah, Coach Cruz on the far side, I think he's pretty much resigned at this point to the fact that with 53 seconds left and 18 points to make up in that amount of time, probably not going to happen tonight. Turning the corner, trying to stay in bounds, and he gets out of bounds, but not before making a first down or awful close to it. Let's see. Now they're going to say that he stepped out of bounds right around the 47-yard line. Scoring update on the Kansas side. Olathe North 21, Mill Valley 14. To that out of bounds run. Clock stopped with 40 seconds. Little pitch out to the right, cuts back to the left. He's swallowed up at about the 47-yard line. 33-32. Well, friends, you've been a part of another episode of Friday Night Football presented by A10 Varsity at A10Varsity.com, your home for high school sports across the entire region. You can visit A10 Varsity 24/7 to get the latest news on your favorite teams, check out player stats, and so much more. As always, a big thank you to everyone back at the A10 Varsity Mothership, including Nolan Rader, and Reese, Charlotte, Linda, and everyone. Feeds the squirrels and keeps the power flowing. Next Friday, Rockhurst travels to the Yukon, not the province east of Alaska, but Yukon, Oklahoma, where they will do battle with the OKC Patriots. That game is set to kick off at 6 p.m. Central. SLUH will play their final regular season game next Friday evening against Class 5 juggernaut Cardinal Ritter. Lions, who are ranked number 1 in 5A by A10Varsity.com, are currently playing Class 4 power and undefeated Hillsborough, who's also ranked number 4 in Class 4 by A10 Varsity. Direct links to the broadcast of games throughout the entire region can be found at A10Varsity.com 24/7. Once again, your final score here at Rockhurst High School. Rockhurst 40, St. Louis University High 22. On behalf of my good friend David Trimble, I'm Sean Brewer saying thanks for joining us here on A10 Varsity and good night.